children's author Anjali Rove, and environmental trailblazing activist Maya Rose Craig. We are also delighted to mark 100 years of the birth anniversary of our beloved leader, the father of the nation, Bangla Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, through a range of sessions, discussions, and
during the pandemic, many felt it was time to reset our lives, to think of a different way of living. However, somehow things seem more frenetic than ever. Perhaps we could take the next few days as a time to stop again, take a break, and imagine something beyond
our everyday lives. Perhaps take time away from our social media silos and have some great addas and hear a range of views and perspectives. And let our curiosity and imagination lead us where it may. Thank you again to everyone for coming and joining us today for the 10th edition of Dhaka Lit Fest. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Salasas, for your address. I'd now like to invite on stage Ahsan Akbar, Director of Dhaka Lit Fest, to share his welcome remarks.
Good morning, all. I'll begin with a question. What do you want to be when you grow up? As a child, much like most children, I was asked this many times, and my response ranged from A to Z, astronaut to zookeeper. But it was never organizer of a literary festival. We don't know what the future holds for us, but we can certainly shape it. And we have so much at stake, from climate crisis to geopolitical turmoil. We are at crossroads. And it is up to us to write the story, one that will shape our future. With that spirit in mind, I welcome you to our 10th edition of Dhaka Lit Fest. Over the next 4 days, we have an incredible opportunity to learn from each other, share ideas, exchange knowledge. Dhaka Lit Fest is proud to be a platform for connection, for collaboration, celebrating diversity, and protecting the right to express freely. We firmly believe in artistic freedom and fellowship. And so it bears repeating, we are writing history, shaping our future. That's what we're doing here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ahsan Akbar, for your remarks. I'd now like to welcome on stage Director of Dhaka Lit Fest, K. Anis Ahmed, to share his welcome address.
Honorable Minister of Culture, Honorable Director General of Bangla Academy, esteemed guests, sponsors, patrons, dignitaries, and above all, beloved speakers and audience. Welcome to the 10th edition of the Dhaka Lit Fest. Like my friends before, I have a very small note to share with you, and for me, the thought is one of thanks and thankfulness. We have just gone through a horrifying pandemic. We somberly recall all those we have lost. I know many people here, you have lost your closest ones or loved ones. We have, and we've lost people from the artistic and writing communities around the world. So those of us who are here now, I feel we might have an extra sense of gratitude and urgency for the opportunities that are still open for us. Opportunities that maybe once we took for granted and we now know how precious they are. So I thank everyone who has made this event possible, starting with the ministry, the academy, all our patron sponsors, and especially our magnificent team of co-workers and volunteers. But the real thankfulness for me personally is in the fact of this sheer coming together. The writer's work, as for many creative people, even the scientists in their labs as often, but especially the writers, is a work that's done in isolation. But culture thrives in community, in communion. And that kind of coming together also creates more conducive spaces for the work that creators do in isolation. Therefore, we see a lot of value in what we will do here. There will be discussions, there will be debates, and sparks of new creativity will be set off. Exactly how that happens is hard to detect, hard to predict, but we know it happens. And that's why talk has been part of all cultures, including the most potent ones with most lasting legacies, from the Greek agora to European salons of the 19th century to our Bengali addas. Like many people, I have also always enjoyed jokes about the Bengali and their love of idle chatter, but I'm personally a big believer in both idleness and chatter. And that's what we're here for. And we hope that new sparks will be set off. We don't know how, but it will happen. Hopefully you will join us in rejoicing, in being inspired, and this coming together. It's a crucible of creativity, and we are so thankful and so thrilled to be able to stage that again for these 4 days. And we hope you will all partake of the many speeches, events, panels, that as we know you do. So we thank you for your support. We thank especially speakers who've come from very far away, taking a lot of their valuable time to share with us, and also speakers from home who will also be sharing their valuable time and expertise with us. It's going to be a great 4 days. We welcome all of you to Dhaka Lip Fest 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Giannis Ahmed. I'd now like to welcome on stage one of our most beloved writers and a friend of Bangladesh, Mr. Amitav Ghosh, to share his remarks with us.
Hello, everyone. I feel extraordinarily privileged to be here today. It's such an amazing gathering of minds, of writers, thinkers, performers. It's really an honor to be standing in front of you, and especially after that absolutely electrifying performance by the Manipuri dancers. It was just so moving for me to see the celebration of the pluralistic traditions of the subcontinent. You know, just inaugurating this. It was a really thrilling moment, and I hope there are many more such. I myself am by origin from Bangladesh. On my mother's side, the family is from. Thank you. On my mother's side, the family is from. Well, it used to be Puritpur, but after the redistricting, it's Gopalganj district. On my father's side, it's Bikrampur, but his village went under the Podda a long, long time ago. But so I remember trying to visit it once when I was 7 or 8. My father took me, but the village was under the river. But my mother's village is still there, Ulpur in Gopalganj, and thanks to Anis, I'm going to be able to visit it on this trip. I grew up hearing stories about Bangladesh. We talked about Bangladesh all the time. My grandmother was from Madaripur district, and all her life she had her Madaripuri accent. And so it was an amazing thing for me, you know, growing up, hearing this wonderful dialect, this wonderful language. And for all these reasons, growing up in India, Bangladesh was a kind of absence in my life. I think only those of us who have the experience of that separation can really understand what this absence means. But in a strange way, over the years, Bangladesh and Bangalis and Bangla has become more and more a part of my life. And not through the subcontinent, but, well, through other places like Venice and New York. My last book, Gun Island, is set in Venice, and it really began when I began to notice that the entire working class of Venice is actually Bangladeshi. And not only Bangladeshi, they are from two or three areas, Madaripur, Shariatpur. And it was such a moving experience for me that in Venice, I would hear the sounds of my grandmother's dialect, and it all came back to me, and it was just so moving. And it's in fact, my last book, Gun Island, is about this experience. And I spent several months traveling around the camps, the Italian migrant camps, interviewing Bangladeshi and Pakistani migrants and refugees who crossed the Mediterranean to get into Europe. And that, again, was such a sort of interesting and moving experience, talking to these, really, they're like children. So many of them are teenagers. The oldest are maybe in their 20s, and they risk their lives to cross over. And these are amazing stories that they have to tell, how they go by foot across Iran, across Turkey, being shot at by the police, holding on to the bottom of trucks as they go across Greece. I mean, I found myself just completely astonished by these stories. And again, in New York now, New York has become so much a Bengali city. Everywhere I go, especially in Brooklyn, I just sit by my window and I hear people speaking Bangla on the streets. It's kind of such an astonishing thing, and so marvelous and miraculous. So in all these ways, I feel that my connections have been restored with Bangladesh, and it's especially exciting that what we see today is a resurgent Bangladesh, a new Bangladesh, a Bangladesh that has become a global leader on climate change, a Bangladesh that now regionally is a leader with the highest per capita GDP and so on all the social indicators. Bangladesh is the regional leader. So really, I think there's a lot to celebrate and to congratulate you for. But most of all, I'm so grateful to you for inviting me to be here. আপনাদের সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ জানাই।
Thank you so much, Mr. Amitabh Ghosh. I'd now like to invite on stage our honorable guest, the Nobel Prize winner for literature, Abdul Razak Gurna, to share his remarks.
Yes.
Hello everybody. For the last hour and a half I've been sitting there calm, relaxed. Almost forgot that at some point I was going to be coming up here to address you. But here, and I'm very grateful for the invitation to come to the festival and to join colleagues, you, the audience here. Unlike Amitabh Ghosh, I can't tell you the story of how I began here and how I belonged here. Because for me, this is the first time I'm coming to both Dhaka and Bangladesh, or indeed this whole side of the subcontinent. So I'm expecting all kinds of revelations, events to happen. I've lost
Thank you, Mr. Abdul Razak Gurna. I'd now like to welcome on stage our Honorable State Minister for Cultural Affairs, Mr. K.M. Khalid, to share his remarks.
শুভ সকাল। দশম ঢাকা লিট ফেস্ট এই আয়োজনের সাথে যারা সম্পৃক্ত তাদের প্রতি আমি প্রথমেই কৃতজ্ঞতা জানাচ্ছি। নোবেল লরেট আব্দুল রাজাক গুরুনা এবং অমিতাভ ঘোষ আমাদের মাঝে আছেন বাংলা একাডেমির মহাপরিচালক জাতিসত্তার কবি নুরুল হুদা, মাননীয় সংসদ সদস্য কাজী নাবিল, তারই অনুজ কে আনিস, আসলে কাজী আনিস। তাদের নামকরণটা জিজ্ঞেস করেছিলাম যে তুমি কে আনিস, বলে কাজী আনিস বলে সবাই শুধু আমাকে কাজী ডাকে, আনিস আর কেউ আমাকে ডাকে। আমি লেখক হিসেবে কাজী কে আনিসের পরিচয় দিতে চাই। এই আয়োজনের সাথে বিভিন্ন সময় সংস্কৃতি মন্ত্রণালয় নানাভাবে সম্পৃক্ত থেকেছে। এবার বৈশ্বিক মহামারীর কারণে 3 বছর এই অনুষ্ঠানটি হচ্ছে। আমাদের সম্পৃক্ততা আগের চেয়ে একটু কমেছে, বাট আমি খুব আশাবাদী আমি নিশ্চয়ই করে আর একটু জোরালো ভাবে সম্পৃক্ত হব, সেটি সময়ের সাথে সাথে আমরা ইনশাআল্লাহ। এই আয়োজনের মধ্য দিয়ে এই সাহিত্য অঙ্গনে যে আলো এবং দ্যুতি ছড়াবে, সেটির সাথে যারা সম্পৃক্ত হয়েছে আয়োজনকে ভালো একটা রূপ দেওয়ার জন্য, সফল করার জন্য তাদের প্রতি কৃতজ্ঞতা জানিয়ে আমি দশম ঢাকা লিট ফেস্টের শুভ উদ্বোধন ঘোষণা করছি। জয় বাংলা, জয় বাংলা।
আস্তে আস্তে
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your speech. I'd now like to invite on stage the directors of Dhaka Lit Fest, Sadaf Saz, Ahsan Akbar, Kianis Ahmed, our honorable guests, Amitav Ghosh and Abdul Razak Gurna, Honorable State Minister of Cultural Affairs, K.M. Khalid, and the Honorable Director General of Bangla Academy, Nurul Huda, to officially commence the 10th edition of Dhaka Lit Fest 2023.
ম্যাডাম সাবধানে। আরো
Thank you, everyone, and we hope you enjoyed the 10th edition of Bangla.
Thank you everyone for joining us for the opening ceremony of Dhaka Lit Fest 2023. The next session will begin at 12:15. We hope to see you shortly. Thank you.